Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. A little bit of local fare today in the form of Jersey Girl Brewing. This is their Schwarzbier. Yeah. Schwarzbier lager, toffee and chocolate, dark chocolate flavor. These are tasting notes on here. Jersey Girl. I don't do a ton of their reviews, or a ton of their beers as reviews. I just don't know why. They're actually probably the easiest brewery for me to purchase stuff from. I've done a couple of the things in the past, but like right now, especially with me moving to my new job, I'm like a mile away from the actual brewery. Not even a mile. It's actually, as the crow flies, like it's a quarter mile, but it takes me a mile to drive there. I just don't pop by there. I don't know why. Honestly, maybe it's just Jersey Girl, the brewery name, preconceived notion. I don't know. I'm just a weird dude. Let's put it that way. Anyway, but I saw they post this, and I'm like, I love me a Schwarzbier. Why am I not going there? And honestly, I kind of kicked myself in the ass for not going there more often or specifically to buy beers, because I didn't realize this until I actually went and purchased this. All the beers are $12, a 4-pack. And they do a mix pack for $12 too, not even marked up. I mean, they have a couple bottle offerings, stuff like that. It's a bit pricier, but I mean, they're like anything they offer from their IPAs to whatever, everything's just $12. So after taxes, like $12.40. That's an amazing price point. You know what I mean? Especially for a place that like literally I have to drive by it while going home from work. So I saw this. I figured I'd go pick it up. Here we are. It says Schwarzbier lager. Like I said, there's a toffee and dark chocolate flavor. That's your tasting notes on here. It says born and brewed in New Jersey. Drink fresh, keep cold, enjoy local. And then just a bunch of stuff about the brewery. It's coming in at 4.1%. There's no date on here, so that's a little bit of a bummer. But, there's stuff, they post rotationally what they put on. So this is like 3 days old, or at least 3 days old in the can. Let's put it that way. So let's dive in this sucker, see what's what. Yeah, digging me some Schwarzbier. Dark lagers are definitely, when I'm looking for a nice chugger and I want something a little bit more roasty toasty, I'll dive into them. I don't think this beer has a name other than Schwarzbier lager, but oh no, how about this huge thing right here that I didn't even mention? It's called Black Diamond. I'm so observant. So I dig this can art. I really, really do. It reminds me quite a bit of new school, old school tattoo flash art. They have this cool kind of like playing card kind of serpent on the front, but the way that kind of, kind of lettering, I don't know what you call cholo lettering, or just an ornate kind of tattoo font. I would call it. A lot of people, when I used to work in the tattoo industry, that was like a custom lettering they would do with stuff like that. So I really do dig in this can art from a brewery that I'm not usually a huge fan of the can art, so I definitely dig on that. And as far as the beer goes, I mean, it looks the parts of a Schwarzbier. Rich mahogany in color. It looks very much dark to you, but if I kind of pull my light back and shine into it, you can see right there. It's very not murky, not hazy, not that you expect a lager to be that way, but it definitely has this bright, vibrant kind of mahogany when you shine a light through it. It looks the part of like what a Schwarzbier will come off with, that nice kind of khaki colored head. Let's get a nose. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. They're talking about toffee and dark chocolate on here. It's like a toffee coffee dark chocolate is pretty much what I'm getting on the nose. Very rich, very robust, very malt forward for a Schwarzbier. I mean, not that Schwarzbiers don't lean in this direction, but I'm typically thinking a malt base that's roasty toasty with a decent amount of bittering. Think a darker kind of checky kind of pilsy kind of thing going on here. This is very much kind of porter vibes on this as far as how the malt bill kind of comes off and how rich it is. There's no kind of like big precursor to a hop bittering, a roasty toasty kind of maltiness, but it really is this sweet, rich kind of combination, like I said, of toffee and coffee for me, along with this nice kind of big, rich kind of baker's chocolate vibe to it. So it smells pretty robust, pretty big, much bigger than that 4.1%. Right? It was 4.1, yeah. 4.1% would lead you to believe. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. I'll mess with that all day. I like that quite a bit. Honestly, it is very, very rich on the malt side of things. It does lack a little bit of kind of bittering. For me, I want a pop of bittering a little bit more towards what a classical Schwarzbier would be. Now, it could be a bigger, richer, maltier characteristic that it's helping temper that, because there is a bittering here, but it does come off as like almost like a lagered, like a low ABV Baltic porter. It's kind of how it comes off to me, as opposed to a Schwarzbier. But again, we're not huge BJCP nerds here. We're not going to sit here and be like, it's so far out of style, it doesn't make any sense. Why would we even drink? No, no. Even though it's not necessarily ultra Schwarzbier from one I traditionally like, or traditionally expect rather than like. It drinks like lager. It has a nice crisp cleanness to it. That's why I reference more of a Baltic porter, because that can be lagered. It doesn't have to be. A lot of people lager Baltic porter, so it has that lager kind of drinkability towards it, and has just this rich, robust, multiple levels of malt to it that comes off roasty, toasty, sweet, like tempered sweetness. It's not an overt kind of chocolate. It's like a semi-sweet kind of chocolate actually on the taste. And this little bit of kind of toffee vibe, this decent amount of coffee that brings that roast to it also. And there is a bittering to it. So you are getting a combination of roasted malt, kind of hop characteristics, but it's just that hop's a little bit smaller than I expect. Now, that being said, with how big and malty this beer, like I said, it might be tempered a little bit by that sweetness. And if you go bigger on this, hop wise, if you try to kind of bring it to a level that I said I would expect, at least in reference to how the malt kind of comes off, I think you verge into like Cascadian and dark ale kind of realm. So it might be more black IPA than anything else. So I'm not hating on this by any stretch of imagination. Actually, it's probably one of the more funner Schwarzbiers that has like, you're judging this style. It might not hit all the marks and be perfect, but if you just kind of step back and look at it as an American brewery making their version of a Schwarzbier, pretty damn tasty, made really, really well. Nothing negative to it as far as off flavors or any kind of nefarious things floating around in the beer. It's really, really squeaky clean, really, really well made. And honestly, you're talking about $12, like literally across the highway from where I work. I will drink this all day long. Very, very tasty. Very, very good beer. Very good beer. Might be, this is the best beer I've had from them. I've had some really good beers from Jersey Hill too. The one thing about it is, I don't go to breweries a ton nowadays. Just because with, post-COVID or COVID, then post-COVID, and me having my son Micah now, it's just not something I just don't travel to a ton of breweries unless it's a special occasion. And I actually, weirdly enough, don't do a ton of takeout cans from local breweries, at least in the review side of things, because I've covered a decent amount of it. So when I do pick them up, it's either actually typically, I know this is bad, but typically off like a local bottle shop shelf as opposed to actually from the brewery itself. But knowing, this kind of beer exists, very close to where I work, at the price point it is, man, I can't say anything but goddamn. If you dig on, Schwarzbier, you dig on malty, you dig on good beer, good malty, old schooly beer, I think you really dig on this, man, because it is one of the better Schwarzbiers I've had as of late. Is it Mount Rushmore status? Maybe on the outside looking in, it's worthy being up there, but it has some really, really killer ones. So it's more so that it's a very kind of, I don't want to say popular style, but it's something that's gaining a lot of momentum. So a lot of people have been making them. So it's more so that this beer is worthy being up there as opposed to just, there's a ton of other breweries that make really good ones. Not a ton, but there's some really good ones. And like I said, value and availability for me, I know Jersey Girl breweries Jersey Girl's beers get a decent distribution point in New Jersey. So you can find them in quite a bit different places. But you're talking about, I think I'll have to comment down below if I see this on a shelf locally, how much it goes for. But I know you're not getting this at a bottle shop at that price point. So, from the brewery at $12 plus tax, you're $12.40, whatever it is. It's one of the better values in their whole portfolio in general. I think that's probably one of the best kind of bang for your bucks. It's a la the Alchemist model, but even cheaper. I mean, they have their cachet and the brewery's quite a bit bigger and all that kind of stuff, but Alchemist is running, 13 and change for all their beers? Talking about $12 even plus tax. That does not suck. Yeah, Jersey Girl. Have you had their beers? Have you had a bunch of their different offerings? Have you been to the brewery? I've been there several times. I had a couple beers there a month or two ago. Sat outside, I had one or two. Have you had this beer in particular? If you've had, all the comments and fun stuff below. There you go. Review in the books. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Schwarzbier goodness right now. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.